The process for getting submitted into the mix queue is quite simple. You just need to follow a few guidelines that are outlined below. Just make sure that when you're exporting your stems, they need to be exported at 44.1 Hz, 24 bits, and they need to be in the WAV format. Don't send any Logic projects or Ableton projects because there's always going to be compatibility issues with the plugins or the versions of the software. So please just export as audio. Make sure that you've got some sort of acoustic treatment up in the room that you're recording in. Now, when you submit the stems, we'll take 24 hours to review them. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be listening out for the quality of the audio. So is it clipping? Is it been recorded in a room that's damp, that's absorbing the reflections instead of the reflections are bouncing off the wall and they're coming back into the microphone and making it sound like there's some reverb on there? Because if that's the case, then I'm not going to be able to mix the song to a level that is going to enhance the emotional impact of the song. So make sure that that is done. If you don't have acoustic treatment, you can literally use a blanket over your head, record into your cupboard, do something that is just makeshift. It's so much better to have a damp recording than it is to try and fix it afterwards, because it's just not going to work. If you have a microphone that is under $100, like a Audio-Technica AT2020, the chances are that the quality isn't going to be good enough. So definitely try and invest in a microphone that's a little bit more upmarket. It only needs to be a slight better than that. It just needs to be something like an Aston Origin microphone, something that captures the high, something that just has a little bit more clarity in the high end. Make sure that you've got a pop shield, you've got a microphone stand, you're not holding the microphone. Make sure that the microphone isn't a USB microphone, you're actually going into an interface like a Scarlett or anything. Any interface is fine, as long as it's an interface and it's not a USB. Make sure that the vocals that you've recorded aren't coming in hot. And by that, I mean they aren't hitting over -2, -3 dB when you're singing your loudest parts. So you always have to make sure that before you put on any plugins, just check the levels, check the gain on your interface, see where it's hitting. It needs to be hitting the sweet spot between -12 and -6 dB. That allows for a lot of headroom so that we can play with certain plugins and different effects without worrying about clipping. Make sure that when you are exporting your files, you need to go and export the whole track. I'll provide more details on how to do that based on your DAW, whether you're using Fruity Loops, Logic, Ableton, Pro Tools. You need to export the audio as files that are in length. So if you export them and the lead is 20 seconds long and then the beat is 3 minutes 30, then when I drag it into my project, it's not going to be aligned. Make sure that you label all of your files correctly. So if you've got leads, you need to label leads, lead vocal 1, lead vocal 2, lead vocal 3, ad-libs the same, harmonies the same, or doubles the same. So if you've got like a rap song and you're doubling up the leads, just name that a double. But if you're singing and you've got harmony stacks, so that means that you're singing in a different note to the lead, that's a harmony. But if it's the same note, you're just doubling it up, that's a double. And then obviously ad-libs are things that aren't stacked completely on top of what the leads are saying, and they're saying something different. That's an ad-lib. You are able to send me beat stems if you produce the song or if you have the full beat stems, but the beat needs to already be mixed. I need to listen to the song and the beat needs to already be sat in a place that is 90% of the way there. The only reason that I'm going to be using the stems or make use of the stems is to carve out more space for the vocals. This service is focused on mixing your vocals and showing you how to mix your own vocals. So when it comes to beat stems, they're always better to have, but they aren't going to be the focus. If your song doesn't get accepted for a mix, I will provide detailed feedback on why, and I will give you another chance to fix those issues if they're fixable and resubmit.